This is Isabella Breda, the editor-in-chief of The Echo, Cal Lutheran's student newspaper. As the university looks ahead to the spring 2021 semester, one thing that is certain is athletes, coaches, and athletic staff members are eager to return to the court, the field, the pool, and the track. As COVID-19 continues to bring instability and uncertainty in the world of sports, many are wondering, could there be spectators? Our reporter, Sebastian Gagnon, got to catch up with the athletics department leadership to learn more about how fans will view the Kingsmen and Regals next semester. Welcome, Sebastian.
My name's Sebastian. I'm a communications major, and I'm actually graduating after this semester.
Woohoo! Well, welcome. So you wrote an article about the potential for spectators to be able to view sports in the spring.
Yeah.
So when you got to speak with Matt Ward, who's one of the VPs and he oversees athletics, what did he say about how the department's envisioning sports to even look next semester?
So right now they are in the process of making what they call mock schedules. And what that is, that's a tentative schedule of basically what sports are going to look like. So they're kind of leaving it up to the individual coaches. And then it goes to, I believe it goes to Dan Kuntz and Matt Ward, and then they review those. And they haven't done that yet. So, so coaches are basically just trying to get those mock schedules out.
And so those are for what sports? Like every sport, or?
Matt Ward didn't really specify if it was for every sport, but I would assume it would be every sport. Yes, every sport.
Right. And then I know another thing they've been talking about is the fall sports that didn't get to have their season could potentially play in the spring. So when we say every sport, it literally is
right.
Fall, winter, and spring sports potentially could all have short schedules in the spring.
Right.
And then in your article, you said that most games are going to be live streamed, but there might be some limitations. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the biggest limitation is that they would only be able to live stream home games. And so if we were going to go play Redlands, say in like a basketball game or something like that, they would have the rights to stream there, but we technically wouldn't have the rights to stream there. And so we would be limited to what we could do on our home campus. So that would be probably the biggest limitation. And then the other thing is just trying to find out which sports we can cover, because it would be really hard to cover every sport just because of just resources that are needed. And the most important thing, when I was talking to Mr. Ward, he said the most important thing is that men and women's sports are covered equally. And so that's the most important thing. So if we're covering, say, 3 or 4 men's sports, then we also have to cover 3 or 4 women's teams as well, just so that we're giving everybody equal coverage.
Okay. So that could mean that, since we are trying to cram in so many sports in the spring and some could be going on at the same time, just ensuring, while everything might not be covered, that men's and women's are covered to the same degree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And so how is the university trying to sort of preserve fans' experience if they can't necessarily be there, but they can watch a live stream?
So I believe that right there is the biggest way they are trying to preserve it, is having the live stream, because at least if you can't go and you can't see the sports live, at least you could kind of, view them safely in your home, and maybe even have, I think the biggest way to do it also is, maybe you could have some friends over and view it with them, because that's usually who you would go to the stadium with anyway. So, I mean, maybe not a big gathering, obviously, but a small gathering of friends, you could get together and have a live stream party, and you watch it, and it would kind of almost be kind of like the same way you'd view it in the stadium,
Yeah. And so if there is a chance that spectators and fans could watch it in person, what safety measures are going to be in place?
So that I tried to kind of get Matt Ward to kind of touch on that, but we didn't really get to delve into that because they don't even know if that's possible. So what he said was, as long as we had the safety measures in place to do so, we will do that. But at that time, he didn't really want to speak on that, whether that would happen or not, because it's just everything's so much in the air. So we didn't really talk about that very much.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely hard to plan right now. Our county just went back to purple, which is the most restrictive tier, which would even limit our ability to play sports.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's also a very important point. When I had this conversation with Matthew Ward, we were still in the red tier. And so I'd be interested to find out kind of if our conversation kind of still holds up, whether we could still do that under the new restrictions. So that I don't even know. We were in the red tier when I had spoken to him about it.
Yeah. And obviously, we have holidays coming up. There's an expectation there might be some gathering, though it's not permitted. It could happen for sure.
Absolutely.
So do we have any idea how likely it is that there will be spring sports?
So when I had spoken to Matt Ward, we were pretty sure we were going to have, like I said, a tentative schedule. So it was going to look a little different from a traditional season, but they were definitely, like I said, they were planning on having some form of sports in the spring. Now, with us moving back into the purple tier, I'm not sure how much that's affected the plans they already had in place. So at this time, I'm not sure exactly if they're planning to have sports now.
I guess, is there anything else you think that students should know about, I guess, the future of sports at Cal Lutheran during this crazy time?
I think I would just say, it's very uncertain right now. And, but let's just keep our fingers crossed. Let's stick together as a community. Let's just, all pray that sports kind of come back and eventually they will. It's just, we just got to get through this, get back into the red tier. Hopefully that seems to be where sports has an opportunity to happen. So let's all just hope that we can get back in this, in the red tier at least, and let's stick together and we'll get through it. So.
Yeah. And I know that, a lot of people too are counting on a vaccine, but ultimately we have to get the caseload down before sports can resume either way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time, Sebastian.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Here's what else you need to know this week. Ryan Van Omeren, the Director of Emergency Operations at Cal Lutheran, announced Monday that 15 students have tested positive for the coronavirus following an off-campus gathering. 8 of those students live on campus, and the university is currently conducting mass testing of individuals who are potentially exposed. According to Media Relations Manager Karen Grennan, the gathering took place on November 7th. The Echo will provide more updates as information becomes available. Next thing you need to know this week. This month, the Community Service Center launched an online hub for students to find opportunities and log their hours. The website CLU Serves aims to connect students with opportunities they're passionate about and continue to promote safe community service during the pandemic. All of the news discussed in this podcast can be found at cluecho.com. Thanks for listening.